Holy shit! Stop the world! It's 1Y!
Wait, I think I read that wrong. Oney?
Aw, shit, it's your boy! Whoa!
Nee.
It's Oney!
Oney? Who's that?
I hear one faint voice in the back ask. And yes, I know, a majority of you are going to know who Oney is, but there's some new fans on my channel that probably don't know, so humor me, okay? He's a multimedia artist, including animation, still art, music, game design, and he's basically done Let's Plays of every game in existence, and more, who specializes in doing verbal improv with his buddies over on the LetsPlays channel. Would it surprise you to know that he started off as a fan of mine? Or that was my introduction to him anyway. Today I'll be delving a bit into my history with the guy, how he's helped me in the past, and my thoughts on him today. It all started with a message he sent me on Newgrounds. He originally went by the name Oney Sephiroth, I think. I recall thinking it was an odd name, but once I found out his actual name, it made a little more sense. And the Final Fantasy VII love, obviously. I still kick myself for not jumping at the chance to work with him on something Final Fantasy related. He made the offer once and I liked the idea, but I never really pushed for it. When he first messaged me, I was in the midst of my siblings series. The big one at the time was Half-Beard.
Damn it. Something caught in my throat.
We would message each other back and forth on the site casually. It was fun. This was around the time he was getting into animation, I believe. 2007, 2008, something like that. 2006. Thing is, he blew up on Newgrounds, and blew up fast. I remember him really exploding when he started his Leo and Satan series, but really everything he did was blowing up in the same way. It was really wild to see, somebody who was a fan of mine then go on to become big himself. But before he jumped onto YouTube and grew even more massive, he helped me with some of my Newgrounds material. He did this narration bit for episode 6 of Siblings.
Ah, the joys of high-speed internet at the Winchester household.
And played a big role in the creation of the Telefrance collab.
Ah, damn, we spent the entire budget on the intro.
And now, Telefrance.
Yeah!
Ho ho ho! Bonjour!
That was such a fun nonsense collab, and he was really the cherry on that cake. Here's one of the last things I remember about our interactions. The animation program that I used back then, Adobe Flash, was notorious for giving me trouble every time that I would try to export my animations into a usable format for Newgrounds. And whenever I got done with episode 6 of Siblings, you know, the one that he did the narration for, it was so massive, it's like a 9-minute cartoon, and it would fail every time I tried to export it. Come on, you stupid program, export!
Not that shit!
My computer at the time really couldn't handle it. I was working on a crappy little laptop. It was like a tablet laptop sort of thing, so I could use the screen as a tablet, which back then was quite the novelty. But yeah, it wasn't very powerful. Aw, baby photos of the channel! I was telling him about the trouble, and he offered to export it for me. I sent him the file, and he was able to export it no problem. It was such a huge relief, but that frustration was super embarrassing for me. Plus, it felt like I was using him, which I really didn't like. I mean, we weren't really good friends at the time, but like, you know, we were friendly enough that I could ask him for help and it wasn't really that awkward. I just ended up feeling like crap after the fact. I never really got to know Chris super well, like Happy Harry did, but I'd say there were at least a couple dozen conversations between us. Really casual. Nothing mind-blowing on my end, but once he started getting super popular, I got a bit intimidated by it. I've got a bit of an inferiority complex, which is why I'm always so eager to talk to fans in comment sections and on Discord. If I know the person I'm talking to is a big fan of mine, I feel like talking to them is a gift to him. Chris basically ascended the ladder of popularity so far and so fast, I couldn't possibly fathom wasting his time with my company. I mean, why would he even bother with me at this point? Somebody that everybody regularly forgets. That sort of thing. That and I quit animating back in 2011, which was roughly when he was going off and figuring out how to become the juggernaut of content he is today. At least that's how it feels like. I really kind of lost touch with him regardless. He was big on Newgrounds at that time, so I'm not exactly sure when the ascent actually officially happened, but it feels like it was around the time that I stopped. I know he doesn't really remember me, at least by name. A buddy of mine actually clipped one mention of me in an oneyplays video, or of my work at least.
That is a fucking 2004 Flash cartoon, man.
Yeah.
That is.
It reminds me of, I used to watch this cartoon on Newgrounds called Siblings. Do you remember?
I do not.
There was a cartoon called Half-Beard. It was my favorite back in the day.
I honestly want to fuck that stickman so bad in the green.
You're so crazy.
Do you need to, like, step out?
If nothing else, at least he remembers what I did. And like, here's the thing. I can't even be jealous of the guy. He's working at such a higher caliber than I could ever hope to. I work myself to the bone, work myself to death making everything that I make at the pace that I make it. But Chris is a fucking juggernaut, both in his delivery of comedy and of the content itself, and of his recognition. He doesn't quit, he doesn't stop, and frankly, anytime I actually sit down and watch anything that he puts out, it's fucking good. Massively entertaining. So fuck yes, Oney. You started off as my fan, but clearly those roles were reversed a long time ago. I know you're never gonna see this. I'm a tiny blinking light far away from your massive work. But I'm proud. I'm not really sure what I would even say to him if I were able to. Besides, thanks. Thanks for liking my work and making me feel a little bit better about what I do. Not sure what he'd say about what I do now, but I'm trying at least. I do still like to email him on the various emails of his that I have, but I know none of them ever get through. Not that it matters. I mean, it would be cool to get in touch with him again, but he is far too busy for the likes of me. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll actually become what I'm supposed to be and be able to tell him about my success too. It's been 2 decades in the fucking making, but still, a guy can dream. Hey, Oney, what you doing?
Playing Let's Plays! Oney plays!
I don't know.
Hey, a pineapple.